Okay, so test one will be on the content of chapter two. Chapter two starts with module one, topic one, that is graph and graphing utilities. First, it starts with knowing all the key features of a graph. We're gonna start with the definition of intercept. An intercept is an intercept is the point of intersection between the graph and a graph and the one of the axes. So that's why you can have an x-intercept or a y-intercept. For example, here, that's an x-intercept. That is also an x-intercept because it's an intersection between the graph and the x-axis. We also have a y-intercept here. That is when the graph crosses the, the y-axis. Intercepts can be given in two ways. You can either, for an x-intercept, you can give the x value, or you can also give the x-intercept in point or ordered pair. Because it's in a system of axis, so any value, any point in the system of axis has an x and a y. So that's why you can also give it in ordered pair. So we're gonna present the result based on both ways, x and then the ordered pair, or y and the ordered pair. So let's go ahead and work with the x-intercepts first. So let's assume that this x-intercept is at -4. And then the other one, since it's right in the middle of 6 and 5, so let me say it's 5.5. The ordered pairs will be -4, 0, and then 5.5, 0. So if mention is given to you to give the to just give the order the x-intercept, you can give it however you want. But if there's a precision which format to present it, you need to watch this as well when you are doing your assignment. And then now the y-intercept is at y equals 3, and then the ordered pair will be 0 because it's on the y-axis, comma 3. We have more examples here. Let's look at this one. In this one, you have this that is the only x-intercept, and there is no y-intercept. So D and E, when you don't have it, does not exist. It does not exist. And then for the x-intercept, it happens at x equals 1, the ordered pair 1, 0. In the second graph over here, we have a cross here of the x-axis. It crosses the x-axis here and here. We have 3 intersection with the x-axis, so we have 3 x-intercepts, -1, 1, and 2. The ordered pairs will be -1, 0, 1, 0, and 2, 0. Okay, and then now for the y, we can tell that we have a intersection at y equals 4, y equals 4, and the ordered pair is 0, comma 4. Now, when you have the ability to identify intercepts or ordered pairs, but the ordered pairs are not the only ordered pairs are not the intercept. And when you have an equation, you can find a number of ordered pairs from the equation and then sketch the graph based on the pattern of the ordered pair when you plot them in the coordinate system. So in this example, they ask me to find 7 ordered pairs of this equation so that we can have an idea of what the graph looks like after we plot these ordered pairs, and then eventually we can sketch the graph by using these ordered pairs. So that's why we can start here by using the equation and the values, x values given, so we can find ordered pairs, and then from there graph the equation of the in x and y that is given. So let's start with x equals -3, x equals -3. Just gonna separate these two. All right, so x equals -3. That means we're gonna have with y equals 2 absolute value of x plus 3. So that's y equals 2 absolute value of 3, x equals 3 plus 3. So that equals 2 times the absolute value of any number is positive. So if the number is negative, then it's going to be its opposite. If the number is positive, it's going to be the same number. So absolute value of -3 is the opposite of 3, which is the opposite of -3, which is 3. So that's 2 times 3 plus 3 equals 6 plus 3 equals 9. So x equals -3, y equals 9. X equals -2, y is 2 absolute value of -2 plus 3. That is 2 times 2 plus 3. That's 4 plus 3 is 7. So x equals -2, y equals 7. X equals -1. That give me a y that is 2 absolute value of -1 plus 3. That is 2 times 1 plus 3. That is 2 plus 3, 5. So x equals -1, y equals 5. X equals 0. Y is 2 absolute value of 0 plus 3 absolute value, which is the distance from the number to 0. And given that distance from 0 to 0 is 0, there's no movement from 0. So it's going to be 0. So 2 times 0 plus 3. That's 0 plus 3, 3. X equals 0, y equals 3. X equals 1. Y is 2 absolute value of 1 plus 3. That's 2 plus 3. Absolute value of 1 is 1. So that's 5. X equals 1, y equals 5. X equals 2. Y is 2 absolute value of 2 plus 3. That's 4 plus 3, 7. And then finally, x equals 3, y equals 2. Absolute value of 3 plus 3 equals 2 times 3 plus 3, 6 plus 3 equals 9. Now we have this set of ordered pairs. We can just plot them in the coordinate system that's given up here, and then sketch the graph. So we remember what we had, -3, x equals -3, y equals 9, x equals -2, y equals 7, x equals -1, y equals 5, x equals 0, y equals 3, x equals 1, y equals 5, x equals 2, y equals 7, x equals 3, y equals 9. We're going to plot them here. So x equals -3, y equals 9, -3, 9. X equals -2, 7, -2, 7, -1, 5, 0, 3, 0, 3, 1, 5, 2, 7, and 3, 9. So by connecting these dots, these ordered pairs here, these points, then we get the idea of what the pattern of this equation in X and Y was. So that is the graph of the equation y equals 2 absolute value of x plus 3. We can have more of this. Here's another example. So we're going to sketch the graph of this by looking for ordered pairs and then plot the ordered pairs and sketch the graph. So that with x equals -3, y, which is y equals 4 minus x squared. So y is 4 minus -3 squared. That is 4 minus 9. That is -5. So we have x equals -2. Y is going to be 4 minus -2 squared, which is 4 minus 4, that is 0. So we have -5 for y and then 0 when x equals -2. Um, when x equals -1, y is 4 minus -1 squared, that is 4 minus 1, that is 3. Y equals 3 when x equals -1. And then when x equals 0, when x equals 0, y is 4 minus 0 squared, that is 4. So x equals 0, y equals 4. Keep going with x equals 1. Y is 4 minus 1 squared. That is 4 minus 1 equals 3. Y equals 3 when x equals 1. X equals 2. Y is 4 minus 2 squared. That is 4 minus 4. 0. X equals 0 when y equals 0 when x equals 2. And then finally, x equals 3. Y is 4 minus 3 squared. That is 4 minus 9, -5. So we have 7 ordered pairs that we can plot in the coordinate system and get the pattern of the curve. So x equals -3, y equals -5, -3, -5. X equals negative 2, y equals 0. X equals -1, y equals 3, -1, 3. X equals 0, y equals 4. X equals 1, y equals 3. X equals 2, y equals 0. And x equals 3, y equals -5. So we see how the graph looks, and we can just connect the dots and then sketch that goes all the way to infinity. And then this one here, it's a parabola, so it goes down. So that is the graph of y equals 4 minus x squared. And then our next example here is the cubic equation So we're gonna do the same thing, find the ordered pairs and then plot the points and connect them. So let's start with x equals -3. Y is going to be, that's the equation that that we want to sketch its graph. So that is -3 to the third plus 3. -3 to the third is -3 times -3 times -3, right? Negative times negative is positive, and 3 times 3 is 9. So that's +9. +9 times -3 would be -27. So that is -27 plus, that's +2, +2, that 2. So that is -25. So x equals -3, y equals -25. Obviously, we don't have up to 25. So at this point, we probably won't be able to sketch to plot it, but we'll see if we can have enough information based on what the ones we can plot to sketch the pattern of the equation. So let's start with, let's continue with x equals -2. X equals -2 is y would be -2 to the third plus 2. That is -8 plus 2, -6. X equals -6. I mean, y equals -6. X equals -1. Y is going to be -1 to the third plus 2. That's -1 plus 2 equals 1. Y equals 1 when x equals -1. X equals 0. Y is going to be 0 to the third plus 2. That is 2. X equals 2 when y equals 0. And let's go with x equals 1. That's y equals 1 to the third plus 2. That is 1 plus 2, 3. X equals 2. Y is 2 to the third plus 2. That is 8 plus 2 equals 10. Okay. And then lastly, x equals 3. Y is 3 to the third plus 2. That is 29. 27 plus 2 equals 29. This one also, we won't be able to plot these ones, but we have, I believe we will have enough points to plot to get the results that we want. So we're going to try to plot the points in the coordinate system: -2, -6, -1, 1, 2, 0, 0, 2, 1, 3, and 2, 10. So we're gonna start with -2, -6. -2, -6 is down here. We have -1, 1. X equals -1. Y equals 1. It's here. X equals 0. Y equals 2 right here. +1, 3. And then +2, 10. +2 is 10 up here. So 1, 2, so 10. Now, sometimes you may want to use your graphing calculator to see the pattern, because for more complicated pattern in this class, you can use any TI-84 calculator. So for this one, we're just going to try to sketch the graph, type the graph in the calculator, and then see the pattern, because we already have the points. We just want to make sure that we graph the accurate graph. And the way we do it is we can sketch the graph in the calculator and see how it looks, and then just copy the look by connecting the dots using the coordinate system and the points that were already plotted. So in your calculator, hopefully you can see there is a button that is y equal. So since you are graphing your calculator, your graph that is y equal, so that's your y equal here that you're trying to insert in the calculator. So let's push the button y equal. So, oh no, y equals here. So that's y equal. Okay, so y equal, and the other side of the equation is what you're going to type in. So the second side of the equation is x to the third. The button that will give you the x in the calculator is this button that has xt theta n, xt theta n, xt theta n. So this, you push it, it gives you the x. And then now you want to cube the x, the button to raise the cursor to get the power, any power is this. Or if it's squared, you can just push this button here. But otherwise, you push this button to move the cursor up and then through it to cube it. Okay. And then now we need to move it to the right to continue typing the expression. And the last term is 2 plus 2. So plus and then 2. And now you have the graph, and your viewing should be 10 by 10. Uh, so that means that's your x max. That's your, oh, sorry, that's your y max. That's your y max. That's your x max. That equals 10 is here is also 10. This is your x mean, and then that's your y mean. And then since you go 1, 2, 3, it goes by 1, which would be x SCL equals 1. Also, it goes by 1 here too. So y SCL is also 1. Now, to see all these that we see here in your calculator, it's under window. So if it was different, you would adjust the values on the window to get the exact value in the coordinate system that is given to you, so you can see the exact same graph that you have on your calculator, also that you're gonna want to sketch in the on paper. So let me go on the window, and as you can see, the same values that we have here, x max, y max, x mean, y mean, x SCL and y SCL are the same. So we can just go ahead and hit graph to see the pattern of the graph. And after I hit graph, that's what it is. So I can copy my graph from what it looks here, so we can have the same look that the graph actually has. And that's why here it says check your answer using a graphing calculator or a technology. So any graphing utility can give you can give you the pattern that you want in order to have your graph sketched the right way. So now that we see that we're using the calculator, we can go ahead and now sketch or connect the dots that will give the actual graph of the equation. Okay, so just connect the dots as we see it through the calculator. Okay. All right, so then we get that. Goes all the way to infinity. So that's a curve of, that's a graph for y equals x cubed plus 2. All right, so the last one here is the same technique. So let's go ahead and do ix equals -3. So y is going to be 3 times -3 minus 5. So that's -9 minus 5, -14. So this point, -3, -14, we would not have space on the coordinate system to put it, but this is a linear equation, so we only need the maximum of points we would need would be 2, because as we have 2, then we can just connect. It would be the linear pattern. But let's find the 7 points as we are asked to do. So negative x equals -2. X equals -2. Y is 3 times -2 minus 5. That is -6 minus 5, -11. So this one won't be seen also in this the grid that is given. X equals -1. Y is 3 times -1. 3 times -1 plus 3 times -1 minus 5. So that's y equals -3 minus 5, -8. X equals 0. Y equals 3 times 0 minus 5 equals -5. X equals 1. Y equals 3 times 1 minus 5. So that is 3 minus 5 equals -2. Y x equals 2. Y equals 3 times 2 minus 5. So that's 6 minus 5 equals 1. And then x equals 3. That's y equals 3 times 3 minus 5. So that is 9 minus 5 equals 4. So we're gonna plot these in the coordinate system. These ones won't be seen, but we can plot -1, -8, -1, -8 here. We have 0, -5, 0, -5. We have 1, -2, 1, -2. We have 2, 1, and then 3, 4. 2, 1. We got 2, 1, and then 3, 4. So obviously you see how all of them are on the same line. Check again. 2, 1. 1, -2. X equals 1, Y equals -2. See here. Okay, so this one's little out of. Okay, so that is the line. If we want to extend this over here, that's the graph of y equals 3x minus 1. So we have the graph of all these equations.